Hello, good morning. I'm Dilip Thakore, publisher editor of Education World.
Morning, I'm Summiya Yasmeen, managing editor.
Well, it's 5 years since the National Education Policy 2020 was published and presented to the public. And in the meanwhile, regrettably, the author on whose draft the policy was based, Dr. Kasturi Rangan, has unfortunately, who was a driving force in implementing the policy, has also passed away.
Yeah.
So in this cover story, we look at what has been the progress of on
NEP 2020.
And we don't have a very favorable report on that.
So we'll tell you more about the cover story a bit later, but as usual, let's take you through what we have in our August issue of Education World. As usual,
Before that, let's say we have a big story on Rockwood School, Rajasthan. They've taken a very welcome 4-5 page write-up on the school, which is very interesting in its own right.
Yes, indeed. Now, getting back to our editorial content, in editorials, as usual, two very hard-hitting edits. This time, we've written.
By the way, I think we should point out to our readers that we are the sole magazine in India which has an editorial page. No other magazine or periodical has an editorial page. This tells you where we stand. That is our opinion, your editors, on important issues.
Indeed.
National issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our first editorial is, I think, on an issue of geopolitical and international significance.
Very important at this time.
At this time, especially with Trump, being unrelenting and hammering us with 50% tariffs, we make a strong case for stronger India-China cooperation.
India-China and India-Asia. I think it's important, and this is an opportunity, in fact, to make this 21st century the Asian century. And we argue that we should now settle our differences with our neighbor nation, China, which have been festering for the last half century, and come to some reasonable accommodation with them.
Indeed. Our second editorial also is on, I think, a very important issue, Dilip. It's we advise the government, central and state governments, to jettison Nehruvian socialism and to speed up the pace of deregulation and liberalization reforms.
Yes. In fact, we point out here that Indian industry is subject to 1,536 central and state government laws, 69,233 compliances, and 6,618 filings. If you have such difficult to speed up economic growth and business growth.
Yes, and in our education news section, we present to you a roundup of the most important stories, education stories happening in different states. From Delhi, we've got a report on the Supreme Court judgment, where the Supreme Court has taken a strong notice of the growing number of student suicides in education institutions, and they have set some guidelines for governments and education institutions to focus on the mental and emotional well-being of children and young adults.
Yes, an issue on which we have taken a strong position as well.
Absolutely. And in Maharashtra, we have again a very interesting news, Dilip, on the Maharashtra government,
the language policy.
Language policy. It has nullified its previous order where it introduced Hindi as the third language compulsory in all schools. It has had to go back on its order because of protest from the pro-Marathi language lobby.
Yes. In Tamil Nadu, same thing. Language.
Yes, language war. But I think in Tamil Nadu we have a very, I think this is a national malaise, Dilip, which is also happening in Tamil Nadu, where part-time teachers have been hired and they are not being regularized.
And not being paid.
Yes.
for their work sufficiently.
Absolutely, paid
Yes.
sufficiently. So this is a nationwide problem. I mean, teachers, permanent teaching posts are vacant, and to supplement teaching learning so it does not suffer, governments across India, state governments across India are opting to hire para and part-time teachers.
That's because they don't have the budgets,
Yes.
because they're giving away too many freebies,
Yeah.
and that's what we complain about.
Yes, and in West Bengal, the never unending saga of the teacher recruitment scandals and its ramifications continue to grab headlines.
Yes. Actually, in West Bengal, I think we should tell our viewers that teachers' positions are highly prized because there's very little industry and business and commerce in the state, which has been killed by 34 years of communist rule. And for the first time, we're running a story from Andhra Pradesh.
Yes, from Andhra Pradesh, very interesting story, Dilip. And I think the world's largest parent-teacher meeting was recently held in Andhra Pradesh, where 23 million parents, teachers, and community
in various
leaders
towns and cities
these across-
simultaneously
Yes.
met.
So it was a synchronized PTM, which was held in Andhra Pradesh, quite a remarkable feat.
Achievement, and the idea is to get more parent involvement in raising
Yes.
standards.
Yes. And in Karnataka, we've got a very, I think, interesting news on how the Karnataka government wants to follow Tamil Nadu and adopt a two-language policy, which is Kannada and English, instead of a three-language policy.
I think it's a big mistake actually for the national education policy to resurrect the language issue, which was settled way back in 1965.
Absolutely.
And it's created a lot of problems with many states now wanting to publish their own state education policies.
Yeah. And education notes, again, news roundup from across the country. We've got states like Odisha, Goa, Haryana, etc. covered over there. So if you want to be well informed on what's happening in education across the country, Education World is the magazine for you.
Yes. And very interesting expert comment written by two researchers about how actually with President Trump discouraging Indians and Chinese and others people into higher education institutions in the United States, this is an opportunity for India's new genre private universities like Jopi Jindal, Ashoka, Kriya and others to attract students from around the world who perhaps may be disillusioned with America.
Yeah. And in our Young Achievers section, as usual, two inspiring young achievers. One is an extraordinary flute player and the other one is an extraordinary inventor.
Flautist, yes.
And this time in the departure, Dilip, we have three interesting institution profiles. One is on the Bal Bharati Public School, Rohini, another one on Sunbeam School, International School, Varuna, and an international IP on a very unique university known as Kettering University, USA. They are one of its kind, I think perhaps in the world, where 50% of the undergrad program students spend in classroom and the other 50% actual in workplaces working. It's known as the co-op education program.
While they're earning their degrees.
Absolutely.
Yes. Something which I think Indian universities, which are so theory-based, can learn from.
And our cover story, where we present a progress report 5 years later on the national education policy, which was supposed to make India the next education superpower. So our analysis, Dilip, is not very encouraging. We say the progress is slow. In fact, our title is Snail Pace Implementation.
Yes.
Across the three sectors. So we've, done a deep dive. So we've got a section on early childhood education.
An assessment, a progress report on early childhood education, a progress report on
primary,
secondary education,
skills education,
yes, vocational and skills education.
and higher education.
And then we also have an interesting table about the hits and misses
Indeed.
of NEP 2020 thus far. Well, we hope that the better parts of NEP, the government will step on the accelerator and get it going.
Yes, indeed. It's. I mean, it has a lot of potential. A lot of people, education policymakers and educationists say it's an excellent document. Now, how do we implement it to make a real difference in India's classroom is the challenge.
I think the challenge is really to take out the good bits out of the policy and forget about the bureaucratic and very controlling recommendations of mandates of NEP 2020 and implement the rest.
Yes.
And we've had a special cover story essay in this issue also, written by Dr. S.P. Mishra, who is the founder of Career Center, Hyderabad, where he says, can India's universities catalyze the 21st century renaissance? That question is discussed by him.
Yeah. And in our people section, we've got some, amazing people doing some very extraordinary work.
Jeweler, yes, a family in the jewelry business who recently converted to education.
Yes.
And it's quite a remarkable and a highly readable story.
Yeah. And we have a provost of the newly established University of Southampton in Delhi NCR. We've got a interview with her on her plans, and
one of the first foreign universities to actually establish a campus in India.
Yes, and not in the gift city, which is a special economic zone.
Yes.
This is actually in Delhi NCR,
Gurugram. Yes. A public school evangelist, interesting lady.
Yes.
Monal Jairam, from the director of the Piramal School of Leadership.
And international news, this is also something very unique about EducationWorld, Dilip.
Yes.
We're the only perhaps publication which gives you a window, as it were, into the world of international education, what's happening.
Which is very much required by isolationist India, which seems to operate without any reference to what's happening abroad.
So we've got news from China, quite a remarkable story there, how the number of research papers in AI, artificial intelligence, which is the next big thing, in China, higher than those published in the West. That includes the US and other Western countries.
All Western countries.
Quite a remarkable story there. We've got stories from New Zealand, United Kingdom.
Artificial intelligence research.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes.
Asia, a story on Vietnam, a story on Ukraine, how the education system is coping there because of the Russian invasion.
Of the war, yes. An interesting teacher-to-teacher page that all schools need to introduce compulsory financial literacy. All children in school need to start learning financial literacy from an early age.
Yes.
This is
why it's very important.
Yes, this is written by Arvind Puri, who's a Delhi-based promoter, director of the Finance Club, a new initiative.
Yeah, and our special report is very insightful this time, Dilip. It's on why our government's K-12 education reforms failed. It's investigative, it asks the right question, and it posits some very, I think, relevant and important questions about why India's first political party that gave
so much
importance to education was not successful in carrying its education reforms forward.
Yeah, well, it looks like it was window dressing rather than actual.
Yeah.
I mean, our report suggests that it was more window dressing than
and
real work on the ground.
No, and it wanted to do too much with too little resources and in too little time.
Yes. So there was width and not depth.
Yes.
in the
Yes.
ARP reform, school reforms. Nevertheless, we must compliment them for putting education high up on their electoral agenda,
Yes.
which I don't think other parties have done.
Yeah. And an interview section, this time we've interviewed Mr. Divakar Chitora, who's the founder CEO of Intellipat, which is offering online education programs. Very interesting interview on what he's doing.
And he's got an amazing record from what he claims, that he has nurtured 10 million learners in short-term edtech programs.
Indeed. And two
book reviews.
Book reviews.
Yes, Heartland, which
the
is
winner of the
Booker Prize.
International Booker Prize. So we have a
Yes.
review on that.
Yes.
And we have a review on, I think, a very important book which all educators must read, called Stolen Focus, how media corps, social media corps and
Megacorps, like Google and so on, are stealing the minds of our children by making them focus endlessly on reels and irrelevant kind of information which is relayed over the telephone while they're gathering data.
And in our postscript section, as usual, we've got three very, tongue-in-cheek,
off the beaten track, but nevertheless very interesting. One is about the success of the women's cricket team, and what is this connection with female labor force participation. And then Manishankar Iyer's book, which is, we comment on his book, and Manishankar Iyer's record in politics, now that he's walking away into the sunset, and claims that he's being thoroughly ignored by the Congress party. And then we look at the root cause, what we believe is the root cause of India's infrastructure, bridges, roads collapsing, all over the country, floods, rainwater. We believe that has a strong connection with education.
Indeed.
Please read about it. So that's
Education World. But before we go, as usual, what we've got in our Parents World August edition, there again a very timely cover story. We are asking parents to guard against early years digital addiction. A new survey has come out which says that youngest children under 5 years are spending almost 2 to 3 hours per day on mobile phone devices, on digital devices, which is delaying very important early childhood developmental milestones. So we warn parents against that, and we give some very good advice how they can instill in children good digital detox habits from a younger age.
In fact, what we are saying basically in the story is that the parents shouldn't use the mobile phone as a fun thing for their children.
No, they should use it as a
way to pacify
babysitter.
them.
Yeah. Mobile phones are not the new babysitters.
Yes, exactly. In fact, you should keep parents, please keep children away, youngest children especially, away from mobile phones, and not give it to them as a toy to play with. They are not pacifiers. That's what our cover story says. Several other interesting cover stories in Parents World also. How to prevent eye strain that comes from watching the digital strain, digital devices.
Pediatric hypertension, what are the symptoms and prevention?
Yes, these are all new conditions we've never heard of in our youth. And for parents' guide to ensure children's digital privacy. All these are kind of things we'd never heard in the traditional education system. So these are changing times, they are dangerous times, and parents have a much greater responsibility in the new digital age than our parents had, because life was relatively uncomplicated in those days. Well, that's
Parents World and Education World August issue. Please read, discuss, debate, and we'd love your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you.